Welcome to Couple Reviews, where we have alternative things to say. Now you've probably heard of Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and thus you've probably heard about The Lightning Thief, the first book in the series. You've probably heard from so many people that they love the Percy Jackson series. You've probably heard them say that the movie messed things up so terribly. You've probably heard that the books age up in maturity as they go, and you might have heard people say that they're a great introduction for new readers since they start out so easy to read. And you may have heard that they're great and people love them, and you have heard this person recommending it and that person recommending it. But I'm about to tell you something about Percy Jackson and the Olympians' Lightning Thief that you've probably never heard anyone else say about this book. I didn't like it. No, I'm being serious, you guys. I didn't like it. In fact, I didn't know what people were talking about when they said it's so great. This is the story of Harry Potter ripoff who goes on a quest to save the reputation of his deadbeat father, all while using lackluster dialogue and a million Diet Coke references. Yeah, Percy Jackson brought to you by Diet Coke is what I've kept hearing in my head so many times. I don't know why they need to encourage bad habits of drinking soda so often. Pro tips, don't drink soda. That stuff's bad for you. It makes you feel bad, and there's better sources of caffeine. And it's bad for your teeth. It's not good for you. Don't drink soda. I stopped drinking soda a while ago. The world building is just... I hate... It's a secret world thing where, you've heard this spiel a million times before. This kid finds out that he's a part of a powerful bloodline, and he goes off to be trained to be a hero in this secret world that the mortal people don't know about somehow. I hate secret worlds so much. Because you can, here's the thing, you can make me suspend my disbelief for people with superpowers or magic systems. You can get me to accept a lot of things, but the thing I cannot accept is the idea that you could keep the existence of magical creatures a secret from the entire world, especially in this day and age when we have cell phones recording things, in social media where everyone can share their experiences, and distance is pretty much irrelevant. And I hate that this book's approach to it is saying that whenever mortals look at this stuff, they just see other stuff. That seems like such a hand wave of people don't know about the god's existence because I said so. It just feels like the world is a secret because I said so. Shut up. And I don't like... That just seems so insistent on a terrible trope that it just feels like it's doing it because that's what's expected from this genre, is the secret world stuff. And before you say, oh, it's not his fault, they're just ripping off Harry Potter. It was stupid when Harry Potter did it, and it's stupid here. The Mist, I'm not sure if the Mist is something that's actually in Greek mythology where that it just makes mortals see something different. Well, if that's the case, it was stupid when Greek mythology did it, and it's stupid here. And another thing that just baffles me about the secret world's elements in this book is I don't understand why the Greek gods want the mortal worlds to not know they exist. Are they afraid of humans? And the protagonist's journey is so by the numbers of him having the crappy home at life, then getting whisked away into this thing. Now the relationship between Percy and Annabeth, I mean, sure, it's a novelty that their parents are rivals, but it's just one of those things where you're looking at and you think, oh, well, I'm gonna have to wait 5 more books for them to kiss, aren't I? And probably, I've only read the first books, but just by the trajectory of things, I'm guessing this is going to take a very long time to get anywhere. It's kind of charming how she's kind of starts out aggressive towards him, and then her aggressive mentalities almost become like terms of endearments towards him, I guess. But even then, I'm like, they went on this huge long journey together, and they're still not even close to them being boyfriend and girlfriend for what feels like almost very little reason. And I say almost because at the end of, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to talk again about the ending. At the end of the book, she goes off to be with her parents, well, her family, and they're separated while he stays at the camp. Does he stay at the camp? I've forgotten the ending. Hang on. No, I was wrong. Yeah, he goes back home and she goes back to her home, so they're separated, but up until then, I'm thinking, what's the hold up apart from the pettiness of their parents being enemies, who cares about their dead parents who didn't want them. And this system, this book is so depressing, right? Because you have all these half-bloods that are in service to their deadbeat parents who don't even visit them, I don't think. The half-bloods are like half human, half Greek god, and their Greek god parents just go down to Earth, get people pregnant, and then peace out, or go along with different stuff and get someone else pregnant, or get pregnant by someone else, and then they just let the kids get raised by some other human, and that's just how things go. And those are supposed to be the people that the half-bloods are supposed to appease. And I mean, they point out that it's kind of a messed up system, but at the same time, it's just so dreary anyway. Even if they point out that it's dreary, it's sucking the fun out of it to me. And there's even this part of the book where they're in the underworld, and at some point Percy looks at like how few people get into the good place, and he's saying this is depressing. And I'm like, this is depressing. What do you want me to do? Argue with you? This is depressing. And some of the dialogue in this book, like, let me see if I can find it. Where's the part with the echidna? I know it's in here somewhere. There's this sentence that you just gotta hear because it'll make you understand what I mean with some of the dialogue in this book. Where is it? I have to find it so you'll believe me. You won't believe me about this book unless I show you. Where is it? I should have marked it with a sticky note at some point. Oh no, hang on. I guess while I'm looking, I'll tell you this. I read most of this book a long time ago, and then I just stopped near the end because I just didn't want to go on anymore. I was just suffering, but then for the sake of making a video about this book, I read the rest of it, and I still just didn't become a very big fan of it. Where is the book? I found it. Get load of this perfectly written dialogue that I'm about to read to you. The terrible echidna. All I could think to say was, isn't that a kind of anteater? I hate it when people say that. I hate Australia, naming that ridiculous animal after me. For that, Percy Jackson, my son shall destroy you. And there's some low comedy, like toilet humor, and references to his father-in-law being smelly so often, as if we're supposed to laugh at that. And I don't remember laughing at any of the jokes in this book. Maybe I'm forgetting one or two times, but I just didn't find the comedy in this book to be good. And action scenes that... I'm going to use the word unsubstantial. And there's quite a bit of stuff that I just didn't like with them combining the Greek mythology with modern day isms. Like there's this scene where they're talking with two of the gods, and one of them is wearing like swim trunks and surfer gear or something like that. And I'm just thinking, do you want me to take these people seriously or not? Near the end, there's this part where the lightning thief himself, the guy who stole the lightning bolt, points out how broken the system is. But the thing is, there's no ray of hope to it. There's just, yeah, the system sucks, goodbye, see you next time, I guess, for more depression and lack of hope, and in service to the deadbeats who left us and don't care about us and nearly waged war because they had such a broken system and so petty. And another thing, they keep doing these like preachy things where at one point they're in this truck with these animals and they're talking about, oh, the horrible humanity who did such poor things to these animals. And like, first of all, I don't care about animals. Second of all, do you have any solutions for these problems you talk about? And I think there's like people just talking about how humans pollute the earth. I could be misremembering that. But like, do you have suggestions for how to be better to the planet? Do you have suggestions for what people can do to make the status quo better? Or do you just want to say, boo, humanity is bad, isn't my book so preachy and deep? And that was Percy Jackson and the Diet Coke crew. As you can tell, I did not enjoy it. I've heard that the books get more mature as they go on. Hopefully that means they get better as they go, because if they're all that good, why is this popular? My theory is that people read the original when they were super young and uncritical, and then when they got older, they read the better books, so they just have nostalgia for the earlier book. That's the only way I can explain people holding such high regard for this book. And we'll say I think there is like a few reasons why some people like it, because it has like this power fantasy for this guy who has ADHD and him being different in it, but that turns out to be a good thing, not a bad thing. And there's the idea of him being this reject from his father, but who cares, he's still a hero, which is weird because they still have him do things for his father. But it's a messed up dynamic. So I kind of get the appeal, and I guess there's a bit of fun to be having in the adventurous side of it, of going to these different Greek mythology inspired stuff, but I just didn't get into it very much. I don't know, maybe I'll give the second book a shot to see if that one goes any better, because people have to like this series for some reason, right? No, there's some series that are popular even though they have no value. We'll see. I do not want to be told that my opinions on this book are invalid because I'm too old. I like new animated movies and TV shows that are arguably made mostly for kids, even though a lot of them are made with all ages in mind. But I am capable of liking stuff that's made for a younger demographic. Still, I will entertain the idea that I didn't like this book because I'm too old for it. Not because I couldn't understand the appeal. This video might serve as an interesting observation from someone who read The Lightning Thief for the first time as an adult. I didn't have strong nostalgia for Percy Jackson and The Lightning Thief, so it was hard for me to get past its flaws. And I feel like I was also set up for disappointment because people kept saying how great it is. So I went in with these sky-high expectations. So what did we learn here? We learned two things. Number one, we learned if you were someone who did love the series, this might be just interesting to see how the first book went for someone who didn't read it as a kid but read it as an adult. And for those of you who have not read Percy Jackson and Olympians, The Lightning Thief, don't go in with high expectations, because the people who are raving about how great the Percy Jackson series, they're going to set you up for disappointment with this one. It did not fill the hype in my experience. Not even close. I'm not going to tell you not to read the Percy Jackson series, because there's so many people who say that it's a great series, and I can't just say don't listen to literally everyone else, listen to my differing opinion that goes against what every single other person says. But I am saying, if you haven't read it, just be ready for the first book to not be the greatness that people have been making it out to be. Maybe, I don't know if the later books get better or if everyone just is insane. I mean, I'm you guys don't understand this. You guys, this is such a baffling case to me where I almost feel like I've been dropped into a Mandela Effect universe. I've never heard anyone talk trash about Percy Jackson, the Lightning Thief, and I just go into it and I get bombarded with low comedy and Diet Coke and deadbeat parents being glorified, and I don't understand. Unless it literally is just nostalgia from the later books that retroactively makes people like the first book more, I don't understand. I'll let you know if I read the next book and like it better. We'll see. Similar to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, and not hate me for not liking The Lightning Thief.